Hey there, Cancer. Welcome to your reading for the week of April 7th. You start with this Divine Intelligence card. It says, to connect with your higher self, you must first create space to listen. You have the Shooting Star. It says, what you've asked for is coming true. Your wish is about to manifest. Love it, Cancer. You do start with the Tower, though, so we're going to have to look into that. But, well, you could just be cutting something out. I'm shooting this video on March 31st, and we just had that eclipse in Aries, and we had another eclipse on the 15th or the 13th or whatever it was in Virgo. So whenever we have eclipses, we definitely can be cutting things out of our lives and, creating something better. And you have two aces. Two aces is a definite new beginning. It's also a definite yes to any question that I haven't answered. So, there clearly could be some sort of new beginning coming in for you at this time. But you have that card. I mean, it could also be a surprise, right? You have that Shooting Star card, which says what you've asked for is coming true. Your wish is about to manifest. So you could be like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm actually getting something I want. And so the Tower, like I said, can be a surprise. The Judgment card kind of changes the Tower. Tower and the Judgment I consider to be the most powerful combination in the tarot. Together, these two cards, they're not together in your reading, but they're both showing up here. And to me, those two cards can represent like a major revelation or a major wake-up call. So it kind of makes the Tower less bad, even though I don't think the Tower is bad in the first place. But, some of you could be having kind of like a wake-up call this week. It looks like a new beginning to me. I mean, you have two aces, and you also have the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is about walking away from things that no longer serve you and walking towards, you have no clue what you're walking towards, because the guy on the Eight of Cups has no clue what he is creating. He has no clue what his future is going to hold, right? And he has no clue what the potential of his future is. The Tower is about coming down to reality. These people have been ignoring reality, and now the universe is forcing them back down to reality. So it's kind of interesting because we go Two of Swords to the Eight of Cups. The Two of Swords, she also doesn't know, but she has this blindfold on, and the blindfold in the tarot represents needing to trust your intuition, and then we have the High Priestess right below it. So it's almost like your intuition might be showing you a new reality, but you're not sure of all the details. And, I kind of get that feeling from that first diagonal in your reading, and we'll talk more about it. You have the Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles is about leaving a comfort zone. And so I'm wondering if there's like a significant change coming in for you here, Cancer, or it's like if you're, sometimes I think we just, we think our life is going to go a certain way and it doesn't. And we realize that we want different things. It's like how many people have gone to college for something and they end up doing something completely different? It's like basically everyone, right? I went to college for criminal justice, right? And I was going to be in law enforcement. And obviously I didn't. I stopped literally like halfway through college. I stopped believing in jail. I was like, wait a minute. Jail doesn't really work, because if it worked, people wouldn't have to go. And like it messed with me, right? And then I was like, I don't want to do this. And so it's like one of those things, right? Where it's like sometimes I think we know what we're going to do, and then we have to leave a comfort zone. I am doing like if there was an opposite to law enforcement, this would be it, right? So it's like I do something completely different, completely way out in left field. And, the reason I'm telling you this is because that's like what I'm getting off of this Four of Pentacles. It's like some of you might feel like your life is moving in just like a completely random direction, but I actually feel it's the right direction because we have the Ace of Swords. Funny enough, Ace of Swords is justice. It is law and order in some ways, but the Ace of Swords is laser-like focus. It is about, it could be, I should say, about the focus of your life, the direction that you're moving in. The thing about the Ace of Swords is we have to pay attention to the truth, and we also have to get to the point, right, of that sword so that we can get the crown that is at the top of the sword. The Ace of Swords can also represent a victory. So there could, this could be like a personal victory that you're having because you're discovering like your true purpose. Literally, judgment is your purpose. So that's kind of what this reading looks like to me. It's like, yeah, some of you might be making a crazy decision. And, the thing I like to remind people of with these weekly readings is that, this is only a week. This might be something that you are deciding over the next couple of months. So this might just be the beginning of like the seed of that idea, especially with the Ace of Wands coming up right next to the Tower. You have the Emperor. Emperor's pretty good here because it would say you're like taking control. I think you had the Emperor with me in one of your more recent readings, and I was saying something about you like bossing up or, taking control of your situation. And, he is in control, and that's kind of what I feel for you. It's like you're taking control of your life. Maybe you're not letting other people decide what you want to do. Again, it's like, it's really society that tells us, oh, you have to go to college and do this thing, whatever it is. But really, do you? Or not? I don't know. Only you can answer that question there, Cancer. Here you go. With the Four of Pentacles, you have the Empress. If you've been wishing for love, then you definitely could be attracting. You have the Four of Wands here. You could be attracting like a divine counterpart. If that's what you're into. I also just feel for all of you that you really are balancing out your energy. What the Emperor and the Empress are like masculine and feminine energies. So when I get the two in a reading, it kind of says that you're putting both of those energies together, which is good. If when I only get one, sometimes I feel people need to balance out one or the other. It kind of can say like, if you only get the Emperor, that your feminine is out of balance and you need to bring in more creativity or whatever. But it looks to me like both are kind of going in the right way. With the Ace of Swords, you have the Three of Pentacles. Yeah, Three of Pentacles is really a prove it card, right? He is putting his work on display to these people right here. So and it's also a card of quality work. Like sometimes we do have to prove it to people that we can do what we say. And I think intention is important in life. Like the reason we do something is important. So I don't necessarily think it's always a good thing to like do something to prove it. But in this situation, it's kind of like saying like if you are making a change, or if you're deciding, I don't want to become a lawyer, or I don't want to become a dentist, or whatever you're going to school for, or whatever you did go to school for, or whatever you thought you would be when you grow up. It's like, yeah, in a certain way, it's like now it's time to put on display what you can do or what you are doing. And I think that's what you're doing here with the Three of Pentacles. And the Ace of Swords says it will be a victory. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have the Stay in Integrity card and the Seek Healing card. Yeah, April is an amazing month for healing. This came up for everyone in like the April readings and also the Q2 readings that I just did. So I think, it's a great time to take extra time to rest, relax, recover. The Stay in Integrity card, again, the only person you have to stay in integrity with is yourself. The Tower and the Ace of Swords are both about the truth. The Tower is reality, which is basically the truth. They have been ignoring the truth for too long. They've been ignoring the reality of their life for too long, and now they're being brought down to the truth or reality. The Ace of Swords is the truth or your truth. So I think that's the only thing you have to stay in integrity with is yourself. Like at least, even if you don't want to admit it to people in your life, like what you really want to do with your life, at least admit it to yourself, right? You have the Ace of Wands, the Two of Swords, and the High Priestess. The Ace of Wands is kind of like out with the old, in with the new. Very similar to the Tower in some ways, because the castle back here is meant to look like it's crumbling. And so the Ace of Wands is a passionate new beginning, or, it's kind of like a card of following your inspirations as well, which I think would be amazing for you here, Cancer. I feel like I've been saying to you for a long time that, like, the Ace of Wands is just a spark. We have to keep putting wood onto the fire to get it to grow. And I kind of feel that. It's almost like I feel for Cancer. It's like you have a lighter that's low on fluid, and it's like you're flicking it, and it's sparking. And, I feel like you've had a couple of chances at this, whatever this is in your life. So if it's like an idea or, it could even be a person, it could be a thing. It's like there have been a couple of chances. And, I feel like this is really saying it's time to get that fire going with whatever it is. So it's like I think you have like a little bit more fluid left in your lighter. That's a ridiculous example, but there you go. And, I would kind of build that fire, get it going. You have the Two of Swords. Yeah, I think a lot of us have this like this or that thinking going on right now. My thing is Neptune and Aries. Neptune and Aries on a very Chris's crappy astrology level here. Neptune and Aries is sometimes I think like looking for a savior. I think we've been dealing with a lot of black and white energy where people it's like for every issue that you can think of, people think this or that, right? But really, the Three of Swords says there's probably something better over here, or there's probably like another solution. I've been saying for years that third place solutions are going to save the world. It's not like the government that's going to save us. I mean, literally, Pluto in Aquarius is like the death of establishment. And, if you look at the world, like there are a lot of establishments that are kind of like falling apart right now. And that's pretty much only going to accelerate, I believe. And it's going to be up to us to decide how we want the world to look. But it can look very different, right? And same thing on a personal level as well. It's like maybe the way you were raised, it's like you thought you only had two options. It's like maybe you thought you could only go to school and get a degree, or you could only do this other thing. But, really maybe what you can do is like a mix, or maybe it's a combination of things over here on this island. And I feel like the Two of Swords is kind of encouraging you to like mix things together. I'm kind of surprised. It gives me Temperance vibes, and you don't have the Temperance card here. Maybe it'll show up, but I think mixing things, ideas, things that you've wanted, experiences, might be a good thing for you to play around with. You have the High Priestess. Definitely time to trust your intuition. Your intuition, it is kind of like a little bit of a head over heart energy reading, which I would normally only say if we had like head vibe cards, like the King of Swords, for example. But, I think for some of you, it's like your intuition is pushing you in a direction, and I would just pay attention to your intuition. The thing about the High Priestess is she has these 3 stages of the moon on her crown. And it kind of represents the fact that she sees the beginning, middle, and end of anything that she's about to do in her life before she does it. She's not necessarily doing this intuitively. She's more visualizing how she wants her life to go. So I think that visualization might be really good for you right now. With the Ace of Wands, you have the King of Wands. Yeah, all water signs are probably going to get King of Wands for the next, I don't know, like 3 years at least. I think it's time for water signs to boss up. I think it's time for water signs to like be bold, be confident, and to believe in their ideas, and to believe in their goals, and, believe in, third place solutions, as we were saying with the Two of Swords, things like that. So yeah, like, sure, this could be a person, but I think really the King of Wands and the Emperor are more talking about you kind of bossing up and, saying, you know what, my ideas are good. With the Two of Swords, you have the Eight of Wands. Yeah, this is like something happening quickly. Whatever the lighter is in your life, like whatever lighter you've been flicking here, Cancer, it's like, once you get it started, I think it'll move quickly. And maybe that's what you're afraid of. Or, maybe that's why you haven't taken action, is because it could be 2 reasons. Because you know that it will move quickly, or you're afraid that you won't get a result. Ace of Swords is focus. I always say this to you. With Eight of Wands, you can't pull in 2 directions, right? I think you get the Eight of Wands with me all the time. And so the Eight of Wands says you have to focus on exactly what you want and go for it. And if you do that, you will be successful. And, that's what I would do with the Eight of Wands. With the High Priestess, you have the Chariot, you showing up here. So the Chariot, of course, is a victory or a success. You have right next to the Ace of Swords, which is also a victory. So whenever you show up as yourself, it puts you in a position of power and strength, and allows you to get what you want in the reading. You're clearly making moves as well. I mean, we have the Eight of Wands, Chariot, and Eight of Cups right here. These are all cards of kind of like making moves, moving in new directions, things speeding up, making changes. He's leaving behind familiarity. He's leaving behind the city behind him. The city behind him represents where he has come from. It represents everything he has known, but he's letting it go. And you have the Four of Pentacles. So, the Four of Pentacles, same thing. Like the Four of Pentacles, he needs to leave a comfort zone. This person is. And so I think a lot of you are clearly stepping into a new time or leaving a comfort zone. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this Approve card and this Inspire card. Definitely needing to follow your inspirations like everybody else. Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto in Aquarius wants us to be inspired. And you have the Hermit. So we'll talk about that in a second. But I think you need to approve of your inspirations. You have the Hermit, the Four of Wands, and the Eight of Cups. The Hermit has the star in his lantern. So he has inspiration, the star. And he just needs to open that lantern up and shine that star out all over the place. So it's kind of like he's captured something. I kind of feel that for you, Cancer, where it's like you've captured a little bit of the inspiration. You have that Shooting Star card. It says what you've asked for is coming true. Your wish is about to manifest. It's almost like you have the wish in a jar. You can see it. But now I think it's time to like make your move towards the wish, whatever the wish is. And it needs more action. Ace of Wands, it needs the wood on the fire. And so the reading itself is saying like, yeah, sure, you can have this wish, but clearly there are changes that need to be made for you to get what you wish for. You have the Four of Wands, which of course can be marriage. I mean, again, if you're attracting divine counterpart, sure, could lead to marriage in the future. The Four of Wands is really a card of setting yourself free. Four of Wands is a completion card. In a lot of tarot books and stuff say that the Four of Wands can also come up like outside of love. It can come up when you are completing a project or a certain stage of your life, or you're completing, something that you've been working on, and you're having a celebration, and it's a card of freedom because it's like you're setting yourself free from the responsibility of having to complete something. And then on top of that, we go up to the Eight of Swords. Now, the Eight of Swords is coming up in the good stuff. Eight of Swords normally represents like self-imposed restriction or only seeing one way of doing things. But, coming up in the good stuff, it would kind of say that you are setting yourself free, or you are removing restriction from your life. You have the Eight of Cups. Yeah, a little bit. Like I said, there's a little bit of fear in the reading. I don't think this is a bad thing. I think it's more stepping into the unknown, deciding to change the direction of your life, like we talked about, or something like that. He doesn't know. Some readers say that he's walking towards the Nine of Cups, but he doesn't know that. All he knows is that he's walking away from something that could provide a certain level of security for him, but it isn't right. He would be settling if he stayed with these 8 cups. He wouldn't really feel fulfilled. So he's kind of like choosing to walk away from something because it doesn't fulfill him, and he's going on this journey to find fulfillment. So a lot of you, I think, are going on the journey to find fulfillment. With the Hermit, you have the Five of Cups. Yeah, it's like wanting to live a life without regrets, really. It's like, some of you, it's like you could be saying to yourself, like, sure, I could, go get this job that I've always, that I went to school for, just to use that as an example. But, like, maybe you feel that you would always regret it if you didn't try something else, It's kind of weird. I don't feel like you have regrets or anything like that. I think this is more, it's almost like this card is saying, take the chance, take the chance to do what you're really dreaming of doing, because, you only get one life. So, if you're thinking about doing something else, like, sure, it could be a mistake. I don't think we really ever make mistakes in life because we did it, right? So, like, people love to tell me, it's like, no, it's possible to make mistakes. I'm like, well, not really, because you chose to do it. So, like, how is it a mistake? It's like, it can seem like a mistake, but really, it probably won't be. With the Four of Wands, you have the Fool. Yeah, this is like taking a leap of faith. And again, the Fool is about looking foolish. The Fool says that you could be doing something that people would say, like, I told you so, if you did it. But, again, I think that it would be worth the risk. And, I think that whatever you're thinking about doing is just worth it. That's it. With the Eight of Cups, you have the Three of Wands. Yep, Three of Wands is expansion. It's like Three of Wands is knowing that you deserve more. It's like he's in this limited position here, but he could expand and get on these boats that are on the ocean, and they could take him on an adventure. He has no clue where those boats are going. He has to go on the adventure to find out. But it would, kind of enhance his life if he went on this adventure. It would expand his life as well. Really, that's what this reading is about. It's like saying, I feel like you're about to do something that is, going to enhance your life in some way. It's like, big risks can bring big rewards. And yeah, sure, it could be a failure, but at the same time, it's like, I think that if you don't take this chance, whatever it is, on something, that you might regret it. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this transform card, or transformation card. I did say temperance earlier, which is a card of transformation. I was getting temperance vibes on that Two of Swords, because it's like you're mixing two things together there. You have this potential card. Yes, whatever you're doing has a lot of potential. There's a mountain on that potential card, so you're going to have to climb the mountain, whatever it is, to get whatever this is that you're looking at. Or, with that shooting star card, whatever the wish is. But you have the Hermit as well. It's like the Hermit has already gained the strength from climbing the mountain. So, for a lot of you, it's like this could be a mountain you've already climbed before. It's like the route to take to get to the top. Or you already have developed the strength to be able to climb this mountain, and it's coming up in the good stuff, so it will be a good thing. You have the Eight of Swords, the Judgment card, and the Moon. Eight of Swords is about setting yourself free from restriction. Again, coming up in the good stuff, it kind of says that you are setting yourself free from restriction or something that has been restricting you. She only sees one way of doing things, so it's possible this week as well that you're kind of like opening up to other solutions, or just maybe you're just seeing better ways of accomplishing whatever you're trying to accomplish. You have the Judgment card. Judgment is about waking up to your purpose, your true purpose. Ace of Swords, the truth, the Tower, the truth. So I feel that you are kind of like waking up to what you want your life to really be. And, again, these people are standing in these coffins. We have a lot of imagery in this reading that is talking about leaving something behind. Tower, Eight of Cups, Two of Swords even, Four of Pentacles, the Fool. So a lot of you, I feel, are kind of like really taking a leap of faith into something that's very new. But this is your higher self angel. So it's like your higher self is calling you to something greater, or, bigger or different. You have the Moon. The Moon in the good stuff can represent clarity. There are mountains in the background here, and the story of the Moon is that the Fool gets to the Moon and he has to get to these mountains. So this is pretty good, because it could say that things have not been clear for you for a long time. And with the Moon coming up in the good stuff, it kind of says that you're getting to a position of clarity, or you're starting to gain clarity on the direction you need to move in. So let's see. With the Eight of Swords, you have the Four of Wands again. Again, Four of Wands can be a card of freedom. So with the Eight of Swords, you could be setting yourself free from something that has kept you stuck for a long time, or you could be removing yourself from something that has kept you stuck for a long time, and of course that would be a good thing. With the Judgment card, you have the Queen of Cups. Yeah, Queen of Cups is your card, Cancer. Queen of Cups is about you following your heart. And, we've been saying that this whole entire reading, that clearly your heart knows something is going to be more fulfilling for you, or is going to lead to the life that you actually want. And that might mean you have to leave some things behind in the past. But, the Queen of Cups really encourages you to trust your heart and your intuition. With the Moon, you have the Queen of Wands. So again, if you're attracting love, definitely divine counterparts. King and Queen of Wands have a lot of desire for each other, so there could be a lot of desire here with a person. The Queen of Wands also follows like her bliss. She has this sunflower right here, and the sunflower points towards the sun. So she follows things that are going to make her happy, or she moves more towards her like desire. And I feel that would be a good thing for all of you to follow your desires, or to move towards things that you desire. You have this Heart card. It says love, deep affection, and caring. Definitely could be love if you want it. Like I said, there could be a divine counterpart coming in for some of you. It looks like a very fiery connection. Again, I think for, if this is love, I feel that you could be surprised because of the Tower with the Emperor and the Empress. Like I always say, the Tower is not necessarily a bad card. It can just be you seeing reality. Like if you have been fantasizing about a person, or if you've been asking or wishing for a person with that shooting star card, you could just be surprised that you're actually getting a person, right? And so I definitely see that. You have this Cane card that says pay attention to your health. Yes, every single person in the month of May needs to watch their health. Again, I'm not saying this to make anyone paranoid or anything like that, and I wouldn't be paranoid. I would just make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Get plenty of rest, drink plenty of water, do all that other good stuff. You have this December card. I always clarify these monthly cards. You have this Dark Woman. It says dealings or relationships with a woman with dark complexion or hair. Now, I usually clarify these people cards, so let's pull another card. You have this Torch card. It says spiritual development, enlightenment, awareness, and understanding. So the woman card could just be you, kind of developing your intuition. Even if you're not a woman, it could just be the person I'm reading for. We are kind of in a spiritual time between now and the end of the year anyway, so sure. You have this Dog far away. It says a distant friend is thinking of you. I think you had this card with me recently, Cancer. So if you are thinking of a friend or a person, I think this would be a good card. It's like saying reach out. You never know. It's like sometimes I think we think of a person. You ever think of a person you haven't heard from a while and they text you or call you, right? It's like that's the type of energy I'm getting here. So, there might be a person that's like thinking about you or something. If you all of a sudden think about a person, and, you never know. You might want to reach out. You have this chair filled. It says someone new is entering your life. Can't make that up there, Cancer. So definitely could be a new person coming in for you if you want love. Even if you don't want love, I do feel that you could be forming like new connections in work or business even. And even if you do want love, like both, you know, you have that wish card. So there could be multiple things that you're wishing for that you are getting through the help of other people. Also, just based off Cancer's astrology, it wouldn't surprise me if you have, over the past couple years, kind of, it's like I wouldn't say you've changed up your friend group necessarily, but, you know, there definitely could be some people who have come in, some people who have gone out, you know, and it's like you're kind of surrounding yourself with better people. This looks really good, Cancer. I like it. So thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your week.